with Miss Hernandez. Miss Hernandez would ask to speak to her and would be prevented from communicating with her.
هل أبقيت الخادمة في عزلة عن الناس؟ هذه الصور التي حصلنا عليها تظهر الخادمة الأندونيسية وهي تلعب مع الأطفال. ليس هذا وحسب، بل إنها تظهر بدون حجاب أو نقاب خارج جدران المنزل.
الخادمة عُملت كما عُملت أختي الصغيرة. تربت معنا كم سنة قاعدة؟ 4 سنوات، وسنة في السعودية. صارت من أهل في بلد غربة، عاشت معنا. هي كما هي في غربة عند السعوديين، احنا في غربة عند الأمريكان. فحياتها معنا حياة أفضل من هنا.
ويبقى السؤال: لماذا نفت الخادمة تهمة التحرش الجنسي بها 11 مرة أو 12 مرة؟ لماذا اعترفت بها بعد احتجازها بشهور؟
أنا أقول لك كيف صارت الطريقة. الخادمة سئلت 12 مرة، قالوا لها حميدان التركي هل
12 مرة
12 مرة.
كيف تدري يعني الرقم؟
هذا من الاف بي اي اصدروا اوراق انهم قابلناها 12 مرة وسألناها الأسئلة التالية. من الأسئلة اللي سئلت يعني كيف اني اجيك انا اقول لك امسكك من عائلة، اقول لك طيب انت جاك ضرب، جاك تحرش جنسي، جاك كذا جاك كذا، اجيك المرة الثانية اسألك نفس السؤال، جاك تحرش جنسي، المرة الثالثة جاك تحرش جنسي، يعني إلا لازم أدخل فيها تحرش جنسي.
People say that 11 times FBI asked her and she said nothing happened, and after a lot of pressure, you know, then she had to say something like this.
I know that was the defense theory from the beginning, and they talk about the fact that the FBI had contact with her 11 times. Sometimes that contact was as brief as, "Are you okay? Do you need anything?" And she would ask, I would like, "Can you help me find a Quran? I would like to have a Quran." And so, you know, they made a couple phone calls, and one of the other mosques took a Quran to her.
That's it?
That's it. So there are these, when they first met with her at the house, because of her behavior, the way she was just cowering and covering herself and just so afraid to speak or look at anyone, they were concerned that she was abused, and they asked her whether she was abused, and she denied it.
She wasn't detained by FBI?
She was detained less than 48 hours by immigration.
Not FBI?
Not FBI.
So FBI didn't play any role in pressurizing her?
The woman that met with her, and it was just because she was a female agent, and I think one of the few female agents that was there, and it was clear that she wouldn't be near a man without just, you know, completely covering herself and cowering away, was with the FBI. But the FBI did have some contact with her, but again, often these interviews were quite brief.
Well, that's just not true. The FBI was involved in all of the questioning, and the FBI questioned the first 12 times she was questioned. It was by the FBI, and it went on over the course of many months. I mean, that's for sure.
No, when she took over the case, you know, that's what
Oh,
you
well,
meant.
when she took over the case was a year later, though. The woman couldn't show her any physical evidence. The woman couldn't show her any witnesses. The woman couldn't explain why the 12 times she talked to the FBI, she didn't say that this happened. So sometimes people are good liars, right? Sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't. Sometimes a good liar can be persuasive, sometimes they aren't. I mean, simply because Ann Tomczyk happened to believe her doesn't mean it's true.
No one else was able to say, like under Sharia law, there were no eyewitnesses. It's not required here, but there is some basis for that, why that law says that, because, you know, you have to test the accusation. It's easy to make an accusation. And so we are testing that on appeal. And we feel we can demonstrate to the Court of Appeals that in the end, this is a case, these convictions are based upon the uncorroborated testimony of one person who was subject to various influences, who delayed the report about what happened to her. And so can it really be trusted?
لما قبلت عقبه بكم يوم اعطيت فيزة العمل والجرين كارد.
في نفس اليوم.
عقبه بكم يوم.
There's a protocol established by immigration for how to treat a person who is a victim of human trafficking. She had been identified fairly immediately as a victim of human trafficking, that she had been in this country, that she had been isolated, and that she was not being paid for the work that she was doing. So she was fairly immediately qualified for a special visa. It's a short-term visa that allows her to be in the country so that the case can be prosecuted, and that so that she's not, you know, thrown out of the country without legal recourse, so that she can have the exercise of her rights as well. So that protocol was followed, but it was followed quite immediately. By the time she disclosed to this friend, this woman that took her in, Michelle Hernandez, she had probably not been in contact with the FBI for some period of time.
There was quite a bit of evidence that you know, the FBI had many, many contacts with her.
Yeah. And you did draw this to the attention of the court.
The jury saw a timeline from the date of her arrest, every single interview the FBI had of her, every single contact the FBI had of her. And every time she said, no, nothing happened. There were a dozen or so of these between November when she was arrested and April when she first came forward with the accusation. A dozen contacts, and in 3 of those, at least, she expressly was asked a question, did anything of a sexual nature happen to you? And she said no.
ما الذي حدث مع حميدان التركي وماذا يقول هو تجاه هذه التهم؟ ولماذا لم يدلي بشهادته؟ بل ما هي تفاصيل الصفقة التي قال إن بعض عملاء FBI حاولوا عقدها معه؟ في الحلقة المقبلة نستمع إلى أقوال حميدان التركي من داخل سجن لايمن في ولاية كولورادو الأمريكية.
أنا بالنسبة لي أمامي شيئين، أمامي خيرين، أن يكون خاين البلدي وأكون خاين للمجتمع الإسلامي، أو أني أتعرض اللي يعني بيسوونه لي. بالنسبة لي أنا كأي مسلم أصلا عنده كرامة، وكأي شخص يعني طبيعي أن يكون عنده كرامة، يعني أن أهان ولا أكون خاين.